Good morning or good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to our Zebra Dev Talk. We are thrilled to have you with us for a discussion on mobile wallet technology, harnessing Apple VAS and Google Smart Tab for innovative app development. Before we kick off, let's quickly cover some housekeeping items. If you've got a question during the session, please use the Q&A feature in Zoom. We'll have a Q&A segment at the end of our presentation today, and we'll do our best to answer your queries if time allows. Zebra is committed to empowering our developer community with the right tools and resources, and we would love to share with you how you can join and connect with us. We invite you to join and visit us on our developer portal and connect with our community on LinkedIn, X, formerly known as Twitter, and GitHub. And also don't miss our first series of developer podcasts, Zebra DevCast. You can scan the QR code on the screen, and we will also share the links in the chat later today. Be sure to follow and connect with us. Next slide, please. About upcoming event, we are excited to announce that Zebra Dev Team will be at DroidCon London on October 31st and November 1st. Please feel free to swing by our booth, which is booth number 17, to meet our team. And while you are there, don't forget to grab some cool swags. We are also excited to announce Zebra DevCon 2025, which will take place from June 4th to 6th in Amsterdam. This is an in-person global event that will connect you with nearly 300 developers and industry experts. You'll get a chance to dive into SDKs, explore trending industry topics. So keep an eye out for the registration link coming soon. And with next slide, please. And with that, I hand it over to Marek. Over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon. Today, webinar presentation going to be harnessing Apple VAS and Google Smart Tab for innovative app development. Let me introduce myself a little bit and also Zebra. So my name is Marek Tuzinski. I'm an engineer fellow, solution architect, working for Zebra Technology for 17 years. My home base is Holtsville, New York. I would like to introduce you a little bit to Zebra. So that's going to be the agenda of our presentation today. I would like to introduce you a little bit to Zebra Technology, give you a little bit landscape of the digital wallet technology, provide a little bit technology overview, Apple VAS, Google Smart Tab, Zebra Value Add Services, setup and SDK, which Zebra provides, and security consideration, and what Zebra solution differentiate from our competition. So Zebra, we provide 95% of Fortune 500 companies. We provide the real-time visibility into their operations. And how we do that? By being number one in multiple different leaders in multiple different areas. So we are, excuse me, number one in mobile computing, number one in scanning, number one in RFID readers. We're also number one in desktop printers, tabletop printers, and mobile printers. So this is where Zebra has the leader, and all the other companies following us and trying to catch up with us and do what we're doing in our development. Why Zebra? So we're a very scalable company. We can meet any enterprise demands. We have global sale about $4.6 billion. We have 120 offices all over the place: China, Asia, Japan, Europe, United States, South America, North America, Africa, wherever you guys want it, we have our offices. Australia, of course. We have about almost 10,000 employees working for us. We sell our products through the channels. We have 10,000 plus channels with 185 countries, and dedicated about 11% of our sales to R&D. So that's why we continue to be a leader in the market. And what is working for Zebra? You see on the right side, there's lots of awards given to us. It's one of the best company to work for. Just between us, we have gym when we can go and exercise to keep our mind clear and our body fit. So there's lots of things which Zebra provides to our employees. That's why we differentiate, and that's why we're getting all those awards. And we, again, #1 in rugged mobile computing, data capture, barcode printing, mobile RFID. So we also, for 50 years, we are unmatched global market leader in rugged mobile devices. We deliver the features and benefits no one can else match us. So, and Android, it's we get over 60% of the market of Android. We were the first one to implement Android and use Android on our mobile devices as an enterprise solution. So that's short introduction to Zebra. And I would like to go now to go and discuss our main subject, which is the wallet. So what is wallet technology? And you could see this on the Google devices, on the Apple devices, and the Samsung devices. There are Apple, Google, Samsung wallets. So it's the technology allowing storing digital information on your iPhones, on your Google, on your Samsung devices. It's that pretty much what you can say, this is the equivalent of the physical wallet. So whatever you have in your physical wallet, you can put or is moving to the digital. And you can store the main thing, which you perhaps there's a credit card. So everybody has in their iPhone or Google, they have the credit cards, you can make the payment. But also you could store those non-payment wallet items, which they call this Apple Value Added Services. The equivalent of Apple Value Services is the Google Smart Tab, but also sometimes you perhaps know this under the same name as a Google VAS. So Apple wallet is predominant technology. It's the technology which was introduced by Apple as the first wallet technology, and then of course everybody else were following Google's. It's just behind Apple. What you can store in your wallet, you can store the event tickets, mobile driver license, boarding passes, loyalty cards, healthcare insurance, transit tickets, and more and more and more. So this is there are growing use cases where you can store lots of other information. How the world is changing with wallet technology, because you see the pandemic was accelerate the adoption of the contactless technology. You know that during the pandemic, nobody wants to touch anything. Everybody, if you touch something, you want to have only one credit card, maybe, or one things which you touch, you clean, and that's it. You don't want to touch more than that. And you want to be contactless. And that was the driver. Pandemic was the driver and accelerator for the contactless technology. And what we see, that 99% of the smartphones globally will be capable of doing some type of contactless transactions on payments by 2027. So it's in 2 years. I see this as a 25 already. So also, this is 6.2 billion smartphones was ready in 2021. And 85% of the consumer using the NFC technology. So this is the thing which is growing, and you see that how market is reacting to that. Oh, something got stuck. Oh, sorry about that. Now it's working. So the NFC and the wallet are growing trends in the market. It helps simplify our lives. How simplify? Because you store everything on your cell phone. You don't need to take your big wallet when you used to have multiple different credit cards or driver license or any other cards which were physical. Now everything is digital. So, and one funny saying is that you can forget your keys, but you never forget your cell phone. So when you leave the house, you might be going to forget your key from your house, but never the cell phone. The cell phone now has even capabilities to open the door of your car and start the car. So the technology is going there, and the wallet is exploding, I would say. So where you can put Apple VAS and Google Smart Tab to work? So pretty much everywhere, because there's a hospitality. concierge services, VP access, membership cards, digital passes, student cards, sports and entertainment. We see big actually transition there from the physical tickets to the event tickets validation using the iPhone and the Google. So iPhone has the capabilities, and our devices also has capabilities to store. You can store multiple different tickets. For example, family of 4, you can store 4 tickets, and our device is going to be able to read those tickets just by swapping those screens tickets on iPhone, and our device is going to be able to do that. So this is simplify your life, made more secure, because if you lose your cell phone, you can always disable, and nobody can really get the access. So this is security. So for the sport entertainment, also you can have Jeep access, Team Club loyalty cards, transportation ticket, the same thing. You can have the transportation ticket. You can load your buses. There are different approach, not necessarily NFC, but also you can use the barcode, QR code, boarding passes, airport lounges access, retail, loyalty cards, membership cards, and more. Healthcare insurance, of course, and law enforcement ID, driver license. We'll talk about a little bit later, and the passports, of course. So 7 great reasons to choose Zebra mobile devices. And why would you choose this? What differentiates us from the other competitors, which not too many? The wallet reader are not that widely accessible. If you look at the on Google, you're not going to find many devices which capable of reading, extracting the data from the iPhone or from the Google devices. And I explain how does it work a little bit later. But those 7 reasons, the first one would be support Apple and Google digital wallets right out of the box. What does it mean? That you don't need to do anything. You purchase our device and all the capabilities are, and certification, of course, are part of this device. So you don't need to do anything from the hardware point of view. Everything is certified. It is working if you move from Android to Android. Why? Because everything which we put is in the firmware of the NFC chip. So that's the beauty about that. That even if you change the middleware, with some exception, of course. For example, the Google requires the libraries 2.1 and moving forward. So you need to make sure that your operating system includes this library. But if you buy a product from Zebra, we know that this library has to be included to be able to make communication with the Google devices. Zebra is very easy integration. We designed the product the way that you can integrate your solution very easy. One way, if you don't have much knowledge, you can use our SDK. If you do have enough knowledge and you don't want to change your business application, you just want to use hardware, you use the existing standard Google APIs. And I talk about a little bit later how we provide this, what we're providing, what's the differentiation again between the competition. And the performance is very quick. We were showing the devices how quickly we can read. The iPhone is not really resetting to hit another pass if you have multiple passes, and our device is already ready to read the next pass. We as fast, if not faster than barcode. Excuse me. And because this is NFC technology, so you don't really need to align. So not like barcode, you need to really align. You have to have the right lights or something like that. With NFC, this is RF technology. So you just bring the NFC device, your actually iPhone or Google to our device, and we're going to be able to make the communication with the iPhone or Google, extract the data, validate the data, and provide the feedback to the reader. It's designed the way that it won't drain the battery. It's a special polling sequence, but it's the cycle, so it's not draining the battery. So you can get 10-12 hours with the standard profile life cycle of the battery. And we provide lots of other services. So we provide so whatever you need, you buy the specific service, and Zebra can support you with. How this technology is working. So you buying the digital ticket, and how you buying this is up to the user. let's say you connect with the Ticketmaster, you purchase the ticket, and then you download to your cell phone. I think everybody does it because the same thing, like kind of like provisioning your credit card, you also need to connect with, you need to download something, verify something. So it's the same process. So once you download to the iPhone and answer some questions that you securely download this and securely loading this to the iPhone, then to the wallet of the iPhone or Google, then the device is ready, and the ticket, if you purchase the ticket from Ticketmaster, the ticket is ready for your event. And you go into the event, and then at the event, our device is right there. Our device has these capabilities to interrogate the iPhone or Google and make the connection, extract the data from the iPhone, from the wallet, validate this data based on some parameters, and then provide the feedback to the user of our device that this pass is valid or it's not valid, and some other information, of course. This depends how you design your pass. Equivalent of the Apple VAS is Google Smart Tap. So the only difference is that Apple requires special hardware. Special hardware meaning that the NFC chip needs to send specific RF signal, specific polling, which only based on this polling, the iPhone going to be understanding and executing different use cases. There are multiple different passes. There are passes which could be only QR code. Then you use the barcode scanner, but also passes which have only NFC, or passes which they have both. And our device is capable to take care of both of them. Excuse me. Because we have integrated barcode scanner, so we can reach the contactless, and we can reach the barcode QR code as well and validate the data. This is our portfolio. So Zebra has the biggest portfolio on any body. Devices capable of reading and validating the data from iPhone on Google's devices. So just to want to make sure that we understand that we're not talking that we are the wallet. We only have capabilities to read the data from the wallet, from the iPhone, or from the Google devices or Samsung devices, and we're able to extract this data, validate this data, and provide the pass fail, whatever you're looking for in your application. So we are the reader with the capabilities. We have already 16 devices which we certify with Google Smart Tap. So there's a process which you need to go execute multiple different cases. You need to develop your own application to do that. And we also have 12 devices with Apple VAS certification. So we can't sell and advertise that we Apple VAS certify, Google Smart Tap certify, unless we have the certification. And if you're looking for the certification we have in our office, we can provide the certification number, whatever it is, and to prove it that this is the certification. So this is the devices. We have the durable TC2 devices. This is the least expensive device with least capabilities, but has the Apple VAS capabilities. The next, the replacement of this device, we call it TC27. Very popular device, is very capable, but next on the line is rugged device, is TC5X. Also has the same capabilities like the other one, but has more capable, much better microcontroller, much faster, and the display is a little bit bigger and a little bit more features, Wi-Fi 7 and so on. Then ultra rugged is the TC7. Then we have still pending VAS approval from Apple. Is the personal shopper. That's for the perhaps you see this in Europe or United States, not so much, but in Europe, specifically in England or in France, people using this for the personal shopping. So you can do the shopping and scan the barcode, and then at the end, the new generation of this product can do the contactless payment. And of course, we have the Apple VAS on this, and Google Smart Tap. You can unlock the device just reading the loyalty card and do some operations. So we also have tablets. We have ruggedized ET4X, LAN and WAN. We have ultra rugged ET6, and we have also kiosk, which also is under the certification in the certification process. So one thing which I would like to discuss with you, excuse me, Our device by default supports two ECP polling. ECP polling is enhanced contactless polling, which is the protocol implemented and designed by Apple. And by default, we're supporting both those protocols. So, and I tell you what this protocol is used for. But ECP, pretty much when Apple designed the ECP1, was much lower security. They were using like 6 bytes, if I remember correctly, when ECP2 is using 20 bytes. So our devices, all our devices, which I was showing you before, they're all supporting the ECP1, ECP2 by default. But you can only select one of them because you need some specific information. For ECP2, which we discuss a little bit later, you require some specific information. You as a vendor, for example, Apple as a vendor, they need to provide some additional information which needs to be plugged in to this RF signal, which is sent to the iPhone for the validation and making the first connection. But pretty much that ECP1, and I see actually the trend now that more programmers using ECP2 because it's more secure, even for those like event tickets, boarding passes, loyalty cards, which were traditionally used for ECP1, but now, excuse me, but now it's moving because it's more security. So the ECP2 was rather designed for I would say the driver licensing, yeah, mobile driver license, yeah. And but now I see that they more and more adapting the ECP2 to event tickets for those which were traditional, a little bit lower security. What Zebra provides. So you have two options. When you buy our device, you have two options. The one option is that if you want to continue with your business application and you don't want to make any changes, you just want to use our hardware. So you can just use the APIs from Google, and you can adopt because we support this. However, you need to have the understanding of the VAS and Google communication protocol. You need to have the permission from Apple to get the documentation, how to talk, what parameters to set. So this is challenging for some of the customers. So we decided that we're going to provide the SDK. And our SDK, we provide the actually package. Our SDK provides all the APIs. So you need to just put your merchant ID, some additional information which is required. You need to get this from Apple, but you don't need to have understanding. We provide this understanding. We provide this interface for you to build the application. And I tell you a little bit later on what advantages you have when you use our SDK or using the Google, just the standard APIs. What Zebra provides the, we provide the VAS package for your implementation development. So you can learn how to do it. We have the documentation, which we can overview a little bit later. We have VAS demo application with source code. So in the source code, we use the private key and public key, because that's what Apple and Google is using, private public key. I tell you later on how to handle this, how to get this to the device and so on. This is all very important for Zebra, how we can enable and how we can enhance the security. So this is the other differentiation which we have between other competitors. So we provide the package, which is the VAS demo application with source code. We provide the Google passes. So those passes, you just scan the QR code, like this one on the picture. And then you're gonna automatically, you scan the QR code with your iPhone or with your Google phone, which you're gonna be using for the testing and or your develop application. So you scan that, and this barcode allows you to sync to one of our database. Actually, it's not we contract somebody, but you're gonna be able to download the passes to the iPhone or to the Google when you're gonna be using as a test equipment for your implementation development. So we not in the business to develop the passes, but we provide for your implementation and your testing. So what VAS SDK, what is actually doing? So we enable you to do the connection with the Apple Android devices. So there are some specific commands which you need to send, specific bytes which you need to send. So If you know this already, that's fine. You can use the SDK, Google SDK. But if you don't want to learn, we provide this capability. So you don't need to understand this. You need to understand what type of paths you want to use, what type of information you're gonna get. But this is all our structures provide this information, and the comprehensive documentation, which I'm gonna show you the links, provide this all the information for you, so you really know how to develop without, again, with very minimum knowledge. You can quickly develop your application, business application, using our Zebra SDK. And because we provide the source code for the demo application, we provide the documentation. That's even better, because it's easier. When I develop my application, I see the source code and I see some examples. That's the perfect. And tell you the truth that we did not have too many customers asking additional questions. I guess we did a good job providing this documentation, providing the source code, providing information how to take care of and how to deal with the EC key, elliptical key, which is very complicated for Android if you already start some kind of implementation. We provide this, the operation of the EC key. That was complicated, I tell you the truth, implementation, but we provide this to you. So you have easy way to implement this. You don't have to do anything. You don't need to struggle to how to deal with the EC key on the Android. So talking about the security now, how we implement our solution. Okay, how we implement our solution. So we have actually two components. One component is the service component, which is, I think the slide is, one slide is missing, but I can describe, I apologize for that, the architecture. The solution is built this way that we have the service. The service is standalone application, which you can download from our site. There are some security which I discuss later. Once you install the service, then you can start building your SDK. You grab the ARR file, you build your application using the SDK. But the one component which needs to be installed is the service. The service does all the operations. So service is kind of interface between all the hardware and your application. And we talk about later. So this is right here. I have the link to the ZebraVAS SDK. It's an Android library. We build this as an Android library. We support also a little bit Microsoft Xamarin with some information which you need to make some changes to adapt this, but we support it, but nothing else. But we always open-minded. If you guys need support to support other way, so we always can give you a hand. And I had a couple customers which asked some questions. We told them to change, rebuild this, to do this, and everything was working fine. So demo application, we also provided demo application, which I was telling you with the example of the ECP1 ECP, how to connect, how to do the implementation. The demo application is for both, for Google Smart App and Apple VAS. So you have both. When you design for the 100%, because I would say 50% is on the market is Google, 50% whatever division, yeah, around 50% is Apple. So the application shows you examples to developing the business application for Google and for Apple. So you will take care of all the passes which whatever customer gonna come and present to our devices. So this is the link, and I want to show you how they actually look our site. So this is ZebraVAS SDK 2.0. This is the passes. On the left side, you have the passes, how they look like when you load them on your devices. So on the left side, this is the iPhone. That's how you see that. And on the right side is the Google. Maybe a little bit change, depends, I guess, on the operating system, but excuse me. This one was done on Android, I think 11 and 13. So this looks like that, and we have all the information there. So I just want to show you the link for that and how does it look. And the next one is the developer, all the APIs. So we provide also, you have the installation SDK, developer guide, Zebra NFC VAS. So all the information. And then one thing which I would like to also mention here, there is best practices. So in this chapter, so I would recommend you to review this chapter because it's a critical chapter how are you going to be handling your private key? You need to get the key somehow to the device. So this is not our responsibility. However, our service is not really dealing with the key. Every time when you create the object and you finish operation, we destroy the object. So the knowledge of the private keys is not there. So the device is designed the way that we don't really keep any knowledge and information about the private key. And that's the beauty about the service. We take the security very serious. We provide, and I'll show you a couple other things. However, going back to the key, private key management, this is pretty much recommendation from Google with some minor modification from Zebra. We put this in our documentation in our website because it's important for you to understand. Of course, this is a recommendation. You don't need to do anything, but if you want to be secure and you know that Word is, and your customer is going to be perhaps requiring to be more secure and maybe even advise, hey, what you doing with private key when we provide it? Then you can, advise that this is what Zebra is recommending, and we're doing this on that. So this is more information, the link, excuse me, to the full Zebra SDK and guide, and also the download files. You have two files. You have the Zebra VAS SDK 2.0 zip file and the Apple VAS SDK package 2.0. So you download this. One thing that this is all for free. There's nothing which you need to pay for that. SDK is for free. The only our devices you have to purchase, they are not for free. And security. So the security, like I said, is very critical, and we take this very serious. So what we're doing that, like I said, we're designing the way that the VAS service code is a binary and that is secured by the SecureText process. So the service, we designed the way that it's very secure. I mean, of course, they can always find somebody who can break in somehow, because if they put so much processing power and so perhaps could be. But we put the SecureText process. We also put some. We signed this with our privileged Zebra key. So any malicious changes, gonna be almost impossible, or gonna be so expensive to do that nobody gonna doing this. But again, we put this provision to security hooks for you, just to make sure that you're gonna be able to use them, and you're gonna be, when you develop your solution, gonna be very secure. So we're also recommending, when you download our SDK, and this is just information on next screen, we have some recommendation for you. So recommending that you check the hash sum check. So we provide the AR file on our site, and we also on this site. This is still the same site when you have the APIs. When you use the site for the developer guide, we provide this sum check, and you could run the sum check hash 512, and you can check the sum check that is the same like we provide here on this website. And if everything is okay, then nobody was tampering with your SDK. So that's the thing which we're recommending. There's much more recommendation on the site. There's the site usually also provides some code snippets when you're going to be developing. So explain that this is the API, this is the parameter, how you use those parameters. We try to be very provide the information like you don't know anything, because we don't expect you to know anything. We provided this information, and that was validated by some of the customers. We did not have much feedback, which means that it's okay. But again, we're always open for, if you need to improve something, we're always open to improve that. And I want to tell you what's the differentiate Zebra, Apple, Google VAS readers from competition. So this is the first full Android, full NFC chip. So what does it mean? Our chip is designed the way that we still continue to be reader-writer, card emulation, and support the all NFC technologies. And plus with Apple VAS and Google Smart App. For Google Smart App, you don't need any hardware changes. The standard polling of NFC is good enough. But the Apple, yes, you require. So this our hardware required to have the has the specific RF signal, RF polling. And what's the differentiate again us? That many solutions which I've seen on the market, they have kind of proprietary solution. They didn't use the chip which we implemented together with NXP, and this is all firmware, so we don't need to make any changes. And when the new Android operating system is coming, we don't need to make any changes because this is coming from NXP, from the vendor who provides the software and hardware solution to us. So other vendors, they have their proprietary solution, which this solution it's a custom. Every time they need to, new Android is coming, they need to implement a new solution. So they could be slow. When Android is available, Android, let's say 15, going to be available soon. We need at least 6 months to implement all the functionality, but we're going to have the Android ready for your, and SDK, of course, also going to be updated. If any updates needs to be done, SDK going to be updated. So the other thing which is differentiate us is that out of the box capabilities. So our competitors, they need to do special settings, special enable, disable, and the protocol change. We have by default ECP1, ECP already in the firmware. You just need to make some changes in the configuration file because we cannot make ourselves. Apple and the vendor who's going to be developing the business application needs to provide the information to us. But this is very easy to do, just some simple configuration file changes, which usually you receive from the Apple. The other thing which differentiates Zebra is the shorter solution to time to market. Because if you use our SDK, you don't need to really have good understanding. We take care of everything. And I put the example of the EC key, which is very complicated actually to use. And once things change on Android, we need to validate the SDK, making sure that everything is working, not you. So we provide, if anything change, we provide the new version to you. We're going to advise you, hey, there's a new version, some slight change, not because of we want to change. Sometimes we add some additional features we want to expand because this technology is expanding, but we want to maybe because Android is changing, like Android 16 going to require some additional changes to the NFC as well. And portability. So this, once you move from our device to our device, you don't need to change anything. When you move from the Android desert to the different Android desert, you don't need to make any changes. This is the easy way. Why easy way? Because or you use our SDK, or you use the Android and Google APIs. So either one, we designed the way that your application moving maintenance is going to be lower. And the last thing is that scalability and longevity. So our product, of course, depends on the Zebra life cycle, but the chip and the library, the libNFC, which we're getting from NXP, it's 10 years life cycle. So you could be sure that once we build a device, not going to disappear next year. We're gonna, we stand behind that, and NXP is standing behind it. This is the big company, so this is we guarantee at least 10 years at the time of release. But this, of course, the life cycle for that specific product will apply because some of the product more expensive, they have a little bit higher, longer life cycle. Some of them a little bit shorter. I think that's going to conclude my presentation. So Priyanka, back to you.
Thank you, Marek, for the fantastic presentation. And we do have a question that came in over in our Q&A section. So I'm going to jump into those, but if anybody else has any other questions, please use the Q&A feature within Zoom and we will try to address them during the call here today. So the first question is, what are the new development in the wallet technology?
So this is a great question. So the thing which is now growing is the mobile driver license. Yeah. So we see in the United States that Apple is actually pushing all this because this is up to the states in the United States. Every state has different requirements. So this is they need to approve it. So Apple has already, I think, 5 or 6 driver license which you can load on your device, and it's easy because again, once I traveled to Portugal, I forgot my driver license. What am I gonna do? Yeah, you can. on digital, you can always, you have your own cell phone. So this is easy to use. And the other thing that for the mobile driver license is the ease of use, that you provide only this information which you need. In other words, if you want your picture, or they require only date of birth, or they require only your driver license number, that's only you can enable on iPhone. So this is the technology which is growing. What this for Zebra? So Zebra, because this technology is using ECP 2.0, so our devices are capable to read and validate this those driver licenses which are going to be stored on the iPhone or Google. Google is also following this. So they have, I think, 3 or maybe 4 states already which you can install your driver license. That's United States. The other thing is Japan. I know that Japan is also, they call this My Number cards, which is equivalent to kind of United States Social Security card. So this Social Security card, we know what we're using here for. Yet this is all kind of like a, this is the information about me. Everything what this is based, it's loaded to this Social Security card. So this, what I know that in next year, early next year, Japan is moving those My Number cards to make this digital. And I don't want to disclose too much because this is under NDA, but this is the new thing which is in Asia is growing. Everything else, in China, I know that they have the driver license based on the Type B technology, but I did not hear much that they're moving to iPhone or to Google, maybe to Samsung. Did not hear it, but I think this is just only time, because everybody going there. I know that China is using mainly the QR code. I know that, I understand it, but NFC is much more secure. I mean, they're putting some security on the QR code, but it's never going to be that secure like NFC. Hope they answer your question.
Thank you. We have another question. Does Zebra Pay support Apple VAS and Google Smart Tap as well, so that we can pick up loyalty cards during payment transactions? Or can this technology be combined with Zebra Pay to achieve that?
Another great question. So the answer is a little bit complicated, because we have multiple different solutions for the payment. If you're talking about the full payment, PD20, this unfortunately not support the Apple VAS, and Google perhaps is supported, but I don't remember that. I need to validate this. I need to check this, but definitely not supporting Apple VAS, because the chip which we're using when we're developing the solution did not support the feature. However, if we're talking about the contactless payment, most of our product is designed for the COTS devices. In other words, this is the commercial available devices of share, something like that, some translation. But those devices, yes, can, because this is the same chip which is supporting the Apple VAS, and this is the same chip which can support contactless payment. But remember, we only provide the hardware. We don't provide the additional layer for the L2 or further, or the application, attestation application. That's going to be user or customer or partner responsibility. But again, our device is designed that we could take contactless payment. Because we take contactless payment, we can also validate the Google and Apple VAS, Google Smart Tap and Apple VAS.
Thank you. Phil Home asked this question. When will the kiosk be approved?
Well, it's a difficult question, because we're dealing with third party. So it's not always up to us. It's just how the party gonna be. I'm talking about Apple and Google. So this is very new chip, which we put on, very capable chip with much more output power, 2 watts of output power. So we're working on that, and I can't say when, perhaps at the end of the year, but again, it's not up to me. We're just following the new requirements. By the way, there are new requirements for Apple, the same from Google. Google, I believe, Google is approved already, right? Google Kiosk is approved for Google Smart Tap, but Apple is still pending.
Thank you for answering the question. We have another question here. Is SDK compatible with MS Visual Studio Xamarin?
It is, but well, it's not 100%. Yeah, you got to take a look at the information which we put in the documentation. Yeah, I remember that one customer has, well, it is Android. It is Android library, but you could. I know that some customer adapted to the to the Xamarin and was working fine. Again, we can always help you if you have the problem. We can always, review this and provide the feedback. And we're successful to other customers. But please take a look at our documentation.
All right, let's move to the next question here. Alberto Gonzalez here asked, they have something considerate in payment using credit or debit card with NFC?
I'm sorry, one more time if you can.
Mhm. So we have a question about, do we have something considerate in payments using credit or debit cards with NFC?
Don't really understand the question. I think this asking that's if we support well, don't really understand the question, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure that you're asking for the Apple wallet or for the wallet technology. The credit card the payment is a little bit different. This is the EMVCo specification, which requires to specify with them, and the payment required the hardware layer, EMVCo level 1, there's the EMVCo level 2 and level 3 capabilities and specification and testing and validation. For the Apple VAS, it's not really that complicated. So I apologize if I don't understand your question.
What are the pros and cons of using wallet technology in retail environment for employees to clock in and clock out to capture their time worked? What are the challenges here?
Yes, you can use that, but the only thing that the retail is usually using HID cards. That's what I know. However, this capability, it's coming to Zebra. So did not see, I mean, you of course you can adopt this. So easy way going to be that, going to be easy for the those who's going to deploy this solution, because you put the cost of the card to the user. Yeah, in other words, they're going to have the cell phone to put the to put this card, yeah, your ID. But I know that the HID is using HID Global is using this technology, this pudding on the Apple, pudding on the also on the Google devices, and our devices will have these capabilities very soon. So again, Zebra is leader. Remember, we are leader in many places. So we're going to be showing the customers how to validate this. But to again answer your question, yes, you could do that. The only thing that will you be asking to provide some additional capabilities? I think you can do that. I think the answer will be yes, you can do that. But the only thing that that HID is more popular using, and you could open the door because there are readers in every place. But yes, you can deploy the wallet technology to the retail.
Thank you. We have some more explanation in this question here. So
Sure.
this question is again from Alberto. The question is, does Zebra have in its roadmap to design an SDK that allow reading EMV cards using NFC?
So we do have something. So this is a little bit more complicated, but we do have. We can for example, for the transportation, it's a little bit different because for example, transportation for London, they're using the credit card as your ID. So, but to read the credit card, it's not only reading the credit card, you need to also be able to process this information, because some of the information on credit card is open. So you can have your name and a number of the credit card here, but to communicate with with the database or the bank, you require special hardware design. They call this SRED communication. So we don't have this yet. However, the PD20 may have these capabilities, but the PD20 is the attachment to our devices. So if you're talking about the standard devices, contactless devices with NFC, we don't have these capabilities because you require this special hardware implementation. But do we think about this? Yes, we always review the market. We always look at the trends, and maybe sometimes we have more customers or more requests, or we would like to support the market in England when they're using this extensively. Yes, perhaps we can design something like that. But right now, we don't have this type of capabilities to really do the EMVCo cards, but we're able to read the EMVCo cards. If you don't need to communicate, we're able to read the EMVCo cards. There's no problem because there's nothing else, just the NFC card with some additional information, or maybe sometimes Java application running there. Yeah, but we're capable to read this, but the processing depends on the type of processing you require. That could be limited or not.
Thank you for answering the question. Let's move to our next one from Sohail. Is this available approved in the GCC UAE region?
I mean, we're selling there, so I don't see there's an approval required there. We need to only hardware approval for Apple and hardware approval, certification approval from Google. Once we have this, we can sell anywhere. I didn't hear any requirements that I need to do any additional certification for the Apple VAS or Google Smart Tab.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to ask the last question in the Q&A round here. How to enable ECP2 on the Zebra devices?
Yeah, I mentioned a little bit about this. So it's a little bit, it's not complicated, but unfortunately we are lagged by Apple requirements. So when we design our product, excuse me, we put the ECP1 as a default because that's what Apple allows us to do that. With ECP2, which is about 20 bytes, it's a little bit different requirement. We can only put the first 6 bytes, but then remaining bytes are required to get from the developer, Apple/merchant. So once you have this information for us, we put or give you new configuration file which is going to have this information. And again, it's not allowed for you to do that yourself because Apple is lacking this. So it's not I would like to give you these capabilities, but unfortunately we can't because we're under NDA with Apple, and Apple prevents to. Maybe this is also for the security reason. But what we're doing, we work with you, we work with Apple. Once we get enough information, there's all bytes, all those 20 bytes, they are meaningful. So you need to enable this, enable that. Once we have this, we put to the configuration file, we build the package for you, you push this package, and it's done. And you have ECP 2.0. But remember one thing, that at the given time, only one ECP could be enabled, ECP1 or ECP2. You can't have one or the other. There's no dynamic switching yet, because again, Apple does not allow us to do that. But we're discussing with Apple, maybe at some point we're going to do dynamic switching. But again, ECP1 is easy, so we can switch easily to ECP1 because it does not require any specific security related to the merchant. But ECP2, it's much more specific. You require some detailed information, needs to be approved by Apple, and that's why this is for the reason we cannot put this as a default.
Thank you. Thank you for answering all the questions. And with that, we wrap up our session for today. Thank you, Marek. We truly appreciate it. And
thank you very much.
For a quick survey that will appear as soon as the webinar ends. We greatly value your feedback, so please take a minute to share your thoughts through the survey. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.